can you help me confirm that? If you can see my screen and you can hear me loud and clear. Sophie, could you confirm that, please? You can see me, you can hear my voice, you can see my screen, you can see my projection. Please let me know. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my amazing team members. Hello, Sophie. Please, I need that confirmation. If you can see me and if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see you.
My voice. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. Yes, I'll try to make this very brief, 15 minutes. My name is Ogenefego Adaja. And the journey so far. How did this journey begin for me? I'll try to keep this very brief, all right? That was me before I joined this amazing, beautiful opportunity, C21FG. I am actually a child born into a home, average home, a Nigerian average home of 8 kids. Of course.
Ego, are you sharing your screen? Because we can't see your screen.
Okay, I needed that confirmation. I'm sharing my screen already.
No, we can't see your screen.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to check that. Okay, a minute. Just give me a minute. So please confirm you can see my screen now. Please confirm you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can. We can.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sophie. Thank you so very much. So that's Fego Adaja. And this was how my journey started. Born into a humble home, 8 kids. When we say average family in Nigeria, I think we understand what it means. Both parents were working. However, at some point, due to the wickedness of house helps, my parents lost a child. Wickedness of house. At that point, my mother decided to resign from work and focus on raising her kids herself. And that was the end of income coming into the house from mommy. It all became a sole responsibility on daddy. So daddy was responsible for 8 children, school fees, giving us the best life they possibly could. And he did his best. Actually, my dad gave me a very good life, such that we all went to private schools. Yes. And we never lived in a house less than a three bedroom flat. So for me, that was good. And that's why I say an average home. But then as I was growing up, I began to tell myself that, look, for me to succeed in life, my definition of success became what I knew. I told myself I can never live life below what my parents offered me as a child. And that became my standard. By the way, my dad wasn't even a graduate, but he was able to give us that quality of life. So I told myself, if I have the opportunity to go to school, why would I live life below what a non-graduate could give us? And that became my standard. And so as I was in secondary school, somehow I fell in love with the subject accounting. And I decided to myself, I owed it to myself to give myself the best possible life. And out of secondary school, I decided to go study the course accounting. The thought and the belief was the course accounting gives you access to lots of money. And so I went on to study accounting. But little did I know that accounting really means being taught how to count other people's money, right? I'm sure you can resonate with that. Counting other people's money. Anyways, I was in school studying accounting. At the same time, I was writing my ICANN examinations. And before I graduated from the university, I actually became a chartered accountant. And I came out of school as a chartered accountant. And I was super excited because the belief was I was coming out of school with an edge over other accounting graduates, and getting a job, a well-paying job, will not be a problem. That was the thoughts at the time. So I stepped out of school and the job hunt began. It was such a difficult task to get a job. in Lagos, even as a chartered accountant. Eventually, I got my first job. And guess how much my salary was? It was 20,000 naira. 20,000 naira in Lagos. Now, my father's house is at Ikorodu. The job I got was at Iju-Ishaga after Ogba, for those who understand Lagos terrain. So you can imagine how it would have been impossible to daily go to my place of work on a salary of 20,000 naira. I then had to move to my elder brother's house at Bega to minimize the cost of my transport. And that was how my journey into the adult life began as a salary earner. It became very clear that it's not all about just having a job. You had to be gainfully employed. And then, as a chartered accountant, I was asking myself, where would I work and I will be gainfully employed? I began to search. I never wanted to work in a bank because my thoughts were working in a bank would land me on the marketing side of a bank staff, looking for customers out there and bringing accounts to the bank. And I was not cut out for marketing. So I never applied to the banks. So my next big thought was, if I was going to be gainfully employed, let me get into one of the big audit firms that could pay me well for my qualifications. And so I went online and I began to search, and I found out there was something called the Big Four accounting firms. So right now, if you put the Big Four on Google, the Big Four accounting firms, 4 organizations will pop up. They are globally known as the Big Four. And these are KPMG, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, EY, and PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers. Now, my next goal became, Fego, find a way to get into one of the Big Four. They will pay you well. And I started applying, application after application. Whenever there were openings, I would apply. It took me about 8 months after I started working in the firm that were paying me 20,000. After 8 months of applying consistently, I got my break and I got employed in PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of the biggest audit firms in the world. And my journey began. My journey to excitement, to greatness, to my dreams coming true began. I was super excited. My salary went all the way from 20,000 naira to 140,000 naira. And I felt, yes, the journey to my good life has started. And so I remained in PwC for the next 9 years of my life. And I grew through the ranks from an almost fresh graduate to a manager in PwC. As a manager in PwC, for those of us who have friends, family working in audit firms, I'm sure you know how the life is. I'm very, very sure. If you know somebody that works in an audit firm, in an accounting firm, or any of the Big Four particularly, one thing they have in common is this: they do not have a life. No life. So as a manager in PwC, I found myself working 15, 16, 17 hours every day. And trust me, when we are saying working, it's not the kind of work you go to and you gist for 1 hour, then you disappear for 3 hours, nobody can account for you. Then you come back and later it's time to close, you pack your bags and go. No, I was productively and mentally working for 15 hours every day. And that became my life. I did not have a life. I was missing out on all family occasions. I was missing out on important engagements. I didn't have sustainable relationships because I did not have a life. It began to dawn on me that really, whoever controls your time controls your life. It became the norm that whenever there were occasions in my home, in my family, everybody knew that Fego is not going to show up because she has to work, right? I would send money to support whatever venture they were having at home, but I would personally never be physically present because I couldn't leave work. Imagine where you're working and even on your leave days, you are on leave, your 1 month leave, you cannot actually be on leave. On paper, you are on leave, but you are actively working wherever you are. Then tell me if such an employer would allow me travel for your brother's wedding, travel for that occasion that is family related. It wasn't going to happen. So I did not have a life. but it became the norm and I got used to it. And it became so sad that, people that are in these big organizations, I began to realize that they live in a bubble. There is a mindset they have. They feel that they are on top of the world. They feel that they are in the creme de la creme organizations of the world, not realizing that they are in a bubble and there is a big life outside that space. For many years, that was a mindset I had. Now, I became so tired and frustrated with this lifestyle. And my big break came when my daddy's 70th birthday came around. We had to celebrate him. Friends and family were invited. All my siblings showed up with their children, grandchildren. It was a massive, beautiful occasion, recognizing my daddy at his 70th birthday. But then Fego couldn't be there. And that's when I told myself, how long will I continue living life like this? For how long? And after then, I decided, no, it's about time. I was getting angry at work. I was not happy with what I was doing anymore. There was zero fulfillment. And I said, it's about time. And in May 2021, I resigned from PwC. What I was saying to myself at that moment was, in this Nigeria, even though I was earning about 650,000 naira, I did not have a life. And I said to myself, there are people in this country that earn way more than I was earning, and they are not tied to a 9-to-5 job. So what could it be that they are doing? They are not politicians, they are not ritualists, they are not Yahoo boys, they are doing legit things. And they were earning way more than I was earning, living life on their own terms, and they are not tied to a 9-to-5 job. My goal at that point was to find what those things were, and I resigned from PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of the biggest audit firms in the world. I hope you can still hear me, guys. I hope you can still hear me and you can still see my screen as I share. So as I left PwC, May 2021, I began to search. There were questions in my head I needed answers to. 7 months after my resignation, December 2021 precisely, December 2021, I saw this opportunity. A week before then, my friend Rebecca, wherever you are, God bless you, Becky, recommended me to see this opportunity. I got the call and I said, okay, remember, this was 7 months after I had resigned. So my mind was open. My mind was very open to options and possibilities. I wasn't looking for a job anymore, but I was looking for questions to the answers to the questions in my head. So I got that call and I showed up at the event. 23rd of December 2021, I embraced this opportunity. Remember that at that point, 7 months after resignation, my savings was fast reducing, right? So I didn't have the amount to start at the maximum package, which was my goal and my focus. And so I embraced the opportunity. But before I saw this opportunity in December, September that same year, 2021, I had gone ahead to register my own consulting firm. And I was beginning to run my own little business as a professional service financial provider in September 2021. So when I joined the business, December 2021, I had my own audit firm that I was running on a small scale. I was just 3 months old in my business. And then I saw this opportunity, December 2023. My whole heart was for it because I felt this was it. The good life, how to have financial freedom, how to have time freedom, which was why I left PwC. I didn't have a life. I said, this was it for me. And so I embraced it. And I wanted to go on the full scale, but I didn't have the funds. I could only go halfway. Guys, I could only pay 50% of what it cost to have a 23 account package at that time, ED 2.0. But my focus was to go on the maximum package. So what did I do? Guys, what did I do? When they explained to me the danger of blockage, I said, no, I will never be blocked. I would operate at the maximum capacity. Let me tell you what I did. I went to my pension. Of course, I've been working for 9 years, so I had savings in pension. I went to my pension, Stanbic Pensions, and I liquidated my pension. When I told my friends that I wanted to do, they said, are you sure you want to do this? Your pension is what you should live for the rainy day, much, much later in the future. I said, this is my rainy day. I went on ahead and I liquidated my pension. I could only withdraw 20% by policy of my saved pension. At that time, my cumulative pension was a little over 10 million naira. A little over 10 million naira, having worked for 9 years. And I could only get 20%. I applied and I got that money. It was enough for me to pay the balance. And that was how I started the business full scale on the 23 account package of ED 3.0. Now, my business started. And there were lots of challenges. First challenge I had was this. My upline was almost a newbie, about a month old in the business. So I had zero mentorship from my upline. I'm going to stress this here because there are a couple of people who would blame their uplines for the reason why they are struggling in the business. Listen carefully. It is not your upline's fault. Eric Warren would say, until you decide that the success in your business is not up to your upline, until you decide that the success in your business is not up to the product in your organization, and your success is not up to the compensation plan, then you are ready. I had zero mentorship from my upline. There was financial constraint because I didn't have all the funds to start up on the package I wanted to start with. Then the little signups I had, massive attrition hits me. Of course, I was a newbie at that time. I was a poser, gradually becoming an amateur. Massive attrition hits me. Then rejection from friends and family. From the world I was coming from, everybody in that space feels like they know everything more than every other person. So inviting people from my previous world, accounting world, they all rejected me, but that didn't deter me. Then I began to attend events and participate in events back to back, but I had almost zero signups. Eventually, the journey continued because I refused to give up. Please, something that will keep you going in this game is what we call consistency. Stay with me. I had my first ever independent event with my team sometime in Lagos. And then after a 2-day massive event, we had only one sign up. At the end of that event, my first ever independent event, without my upline leader, without my G8 delegate, who is Dr. Anthony Akabuno, we ran this on our own. Only one sign up. We were demoralized, but we encouraged ourselves. Only one sign up. But we said we're not giving up. We will continue. Now, what kept me going? I had a very fierce determination and hunger to succeed. Where I was coming from, remember, I was already a 6-figure earner in PwC, 650,000 naira. I could not imagine beginning to live life below that standard. So I had a very fierce determination and hunger to succeed. Number 2 that kept me going was event. If you are here and you do not attend destination events, you are not ready for this business. 1 week after I joined the business, remember I joined 23rd of December, 2021. About a week later, we had my own first ever destination event, which was a Grass to Grace retreat at the Velodrome in Abuja. I paid for and attended that event. That was where my mind and determination to go 100% into this business was born. I will never forget the session of Ambassador Ronke Koshemani where she talked about burning the bridges. At that event, after listening to her, I wrote down the bridges I was burning. What bridges were those? I was on my journey to Japa out of Nigeria. I had that plan. In fact, I had an invite already from Saskatchewan. I had it in my email. It was there. I had to burn that bridge. I had started writing my master's at that time. A few months into my master's program, I ended it abruptly after listening to Ambassador Ronke Koshemani, right? I burnt all of those bridges and I said, I go all into this business. Number 3 that kept me going, mentorship. Mentorship. It cannot be overrated. I tell people, if you like, start the business on Elite Pack, the highest package in this business. Until you are ready to submit to mentorship, you are as good as you started with Access Pack. Yes, I embraced mentorship and the word of my mentor became gold to me. The word of my mentor. And by the way, remember, I had no upline that was taking me on. And so I was fortunate enough, and God bless you, Dr. Anthony Akabuno. Dr. Tony took me up under his wings, even though there were about 4 people or 5 people between I and him, and he taught me all I know today in this business. To me, Dr. Tony's word is gold. I do not joke with any word that comes out of his mouth. I respect and honor and value him as a mentor. Until you begin to take your mentor at that level, you are not ready. Mentorship brought me to where I am. Number 5, consistency. I remember when I began to participate in a certain event in Port Harcourt. Dr. Tony would announce was having an event in Port Harcourt. At that time, I was just 4 months old in the business or so. I had no downline in Port Harcourt. But guess what? Every month, back to back, I was paying to participate in a Port Harcourt event. I had no single downline. I was paying 40,000 naira to participate in an event in a location I wasn't based in, and I had no single downline. But I was consistently doing it because Dr. Tony would tell me something. Fego, if you outspend others, you will out-earn others. That phrase will never leave my head. If you outspend others, you will out-earn others. Even though it wasn't easy for me, I kept finding a way to participate in events. And after 4 months of consistently doing this, my break came in Port Harcourt. That year, I began to grow the largest team in Super Success Team in Port Harcourt by God's grace and by God's help. Consistency has kept me up till today. Consistency is my middle name. The next thing that helped me grow to where I am today in this business is the culture of duplication. I had to learn how to duplicate effectively in my team, because they would say, until your downlines know what you know and can do what you do, all you have is a job. I know where I was coming from as a salary earner that had a job. I didn't want a repetition of that in my business. So until your downlines know what you know and do what you do, all you have is a job. If you're the one doing everything, you have a job. So I began the radical culture of duplication in my team. Today, I have team members who are 80 years old. But guess what? Guess what? If you like, be 100 years old in my team, you are going to learn to make invitation calls within 72 hours of joining my team. And it's no joke. It's a culture in my team. Everybody learns to make invitation calls without exception. Because when you make the money, it's your money. I began to teach my team how to do the things I know. And today I have amazing sub-leaders that are helping me grow my team because of this culture of duplication. And lastly, I had zero tolerance for excuses. Again, my mentor, Dr. Anthony Akabuno, is the king of no excuses. If you tell him any excuse, whatever excuse you want to tell him, whatever happened, fire burnt your house, so your mother died, or your anything, when you finish your explanation for why you failed to do something, what comes out of his mouth is excuses. Excuses. That's what comes out of his mouth. So I began to learn the culture of zero tolerance for excuses. And by God's grace, I was able to also put this into my teammates. Eventually, the struggle continued, however, but my big break, the big break I had came when, again, Dr. Anthony announced in Super Success Team that he was entering his power base of Ibadan. I said Ibadan. Ibadan, how would I do it? I don't know anybody in Ibadan, but I made up my mind that wherever my leader says go, I go. If my leader says go, I go. I said, Dr. Tony, I am going to go to Ibadan with you and I will break that city. And with all excitement, with all joy, I went with Dr. Tony and a few others into Ibadan with a massive event. We used one of the biggest halls in Ibadan for this event. We booked massively. I did radio adverts. I did third-party contact acquisition, just reaching out to friends and family to say, do you have anybody in Ibadan? Please send me their contact. Third party, I got their contact. I did some instant prospecting when I landed in the city of Ibadan. I did all I knew to do to invite people to the event, and we booked massively. People of God, after all said and done, zero results. I didn't have one sign up in Ibadan. I was so devastated. I was frustrated. I was angry. I was upset. Remember, Ibadan is a town where I knew nobody. I left my base, Abuja, to go to Ibadan, and I had zero results. After the event, we were so demoralized. I can remember I and Ambassador Bolo Atife Bello, Dr. Tony had to take us out that evening just to cheer us up. We were so demoralized, zero results. And after that weekend event, Dr. Tony said, we are not going back to Ibadan. We are not going back to Abuja. We are running Ibadan again. That was not the original plan. But Dr. Tony said, we are running Ibadan again next weekend. Immediately, we began to plan for the next weekend. And this taught me a very big lesson that, look, it is not how far, but how well. And true to that statement, quitters never win, winners never quit. And so we ran a second weekend, an unplanned second weekend in that same town. And gradually, sign-ups began to come in. And that was how I began to raise a massive team in Ibadan. Today, I have professors, I have lecturers, I have senior citizens, I have students that I mentor and coach, all from the city of Ibadan. My strongest team today, my biggest team today are all from that city of Ibadan. What if I did not make that journey into Ibadan because I had no history or base in Ibadan? I hope we are learning some lessons today. Now, some achievements I've achieved so far. First, I've raised several Star Connectors monthly in Star Nation. Every month there is a Star Nation Star Connector recognition. A huge number of them come from my team. Today, I'm also a Kingsman by God's grace, and I've raised 7 Kingsmen across 3 legs. I am gunning to become an emerging cell leader by God's grace. I also have the largest growing team in Super Success Team, both in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, in Ibadan, and in Lagos, God helping me. Today, I'm a Global Stage Millionaire Circle member. I'm a monthly Amazon ambassador since May 2023. Every month, I have featured as an Amazon ambassador. I'm a 6 to 7 figure earner and building. And I've raised top-notch presenters. This was when I was recognized as a Millionaire Circle member. I achieved this under 18 months of being in the business. I became an MC, and these are other MCs I've also raised. That is Dr. Oluokere and Professor Becky Bele. Also, in 22 months of being in this business, I ranked as GE Prime. This is rank advancement that I achieved because I embraced the culture of monthly maintenance as taught to me early enough in my business by Dr. Anthony Akabuno. Then in my team, I've raised a couple of other silver executives because duplication, like I said, is the name of the game. And I've taught my team members the art of doing triple maintenance. So I have a lot of silver executive prime rankers in my team, Professor Charles Becky Bele, Dr. Obielumani Ide, Dr. Olufemi Oluokere, I'm super proud of these guys. Dr. Michael Fatoki, Praise Jackson, my beautiful twin sister, Dr. Shegun Laniyo, Professor MC Asuzu, Franklin Magbego, Dr. Oloyede, Professor Fasamade, Dr. Okudishu, and Dr. Zubi. All of those people are silver executive rankers, and some of them are prime because they do their monthly maintenance, triple maintenance without relenting. Then I've also been able to raise Star Nation top earners over this short period of time. The most impressive is Dr. Oluokere, who became top 1 earner in Star Nation in his month 1 of joining the business. In the month of August, Dr. Oluokere became top 1 Star Nation earner, earning 2.5 million naira. Also, Professor Charles Becky Bele, another top earner in Star Nation. He became top 2 earner in the month of September. Professor Charles Becky Bele, he was top 3 earner as well in the month of August. And Dr. Obielumani Ide, she was top 9 earner in the month of August. These are top earners I have raised in my team. Then Professor Charles Becky Bele at the 381 family worldwide level. 381 family worldwide level, Professor Charles Becky Bele ranked as the top 20 earner at 381 family worldwide level. All these are achievements for my team members, and I celebrate their willingness to learn under me. I mean, these are professors that put away their titles and were willing to listen to me. I celebrate every single one of you. And then, when I was just about a year, 5 months into the business, guys, I sponsored myself on a trip to Kigali with my earnings from this business. Even when the dollar rate began to rise crazily, it did not affect my capacity. Guys, listen, this was very impressive for me because in my 9 years working in the corporate world, even with the salary I was earning, I could not afford to travel out of the country on my own bill. I couldn't. But in the month of August this year, self-funded by myself, paying my bills in dollars, my hotel bills for a week in dollars. I was able to fund myself on that trip to Kigali. And that was me when I was going to Kigali. And these are friends I made on the other page. That's when I went to the Genocide Memorial in Kigali. And it was very, 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 very landmark for me, because I knew that I'm in a business that can help me achieve the dreams I can achieve with my own earnings. Then as I began to grow, I had a private mentorship session with the phenom himself and our great-great-great-great-grandmother, Ambassador Juliet Okonkwo. This was when we had a retreat in Ibadan. And after the retreat, they were invited to speak at that retreat. And I had sessions with these two amazing human beings. And I was so blessed to have had that session with them. That was when we were sending them off to the airport. And that's me and the phenom at the encounter. Look, when you begin to show yourself worthy, the Bible says you will stand before kings and not mere men. They will seek you out when you are diligent in your ways. And this is what has happened here for me. Now, my closing words, because my time is almost running out. How did this happen for me? Please, I want to encourage you guys. These are things that have kept me going. That the goal is not more money. More money is not the goal. Let's not forget the vision and mission of C21FG. The goal is financial freedom. The goal is what? Financial freedom. Closing words from me. Listen, I do not stop when I'm tired. I only stop when I am done. Let this be lessons for those of us in this business. You do not stop when you are tired. You stop when you are what? Done. God Almighty did not stop creation when he was tired, because people often say, but God rested on the seventh day. Now, won't you rest? God rested when he was done. It only happens to be on the seventh day he rested, but he was done when he rested. Let's emulate the God that made us. Then do not take excuses, guys. If you want to go to the top, shun every form of excuses. Listen, 99% of failures come from people who have the habit of making excuses. I made up my mind early enough, never ever to give excuses anymore. And in my team, I'm trying to build a culture of no excuses. No matter what you do, you can either make excuses in life or make money. In this business, you can either make excuses or make money. There are people that are under the same circumstance as you, and if they are making it in this business, then kill every excuse, learn from your mentors, and the sky will be your starting point. Then lastly, remember, you are your own rescue. Nobody is going to come and rescue you or change your status quo. Your change is in your hands. Until you make up your mind that I am my own rescue, until you make up your mind that I'm no more going to blame the Nigerian economy, I'm no longer going to blame Buhari or Tinubu now, until you make up your mind, they are not the problem. You are the one that can cause the change. Because in the same economy, we have multi-millionaires. People are building houses. People are buying cars. People are traveling out on vacation in the same economy with legitimately earned money. So you are your own rescue, guys. And this is my parting word for you. My gratitude goes to God Almighty that has made it possible for me to see this opportunity. I can only thank God because the sky is my starting point. I thank God for Ambassador Michael Okoli, who saw this vision and embraced it courageously when he started. Ambassador Victor Albertson, your trainings are impactful and they've helped me from a distance. Thank you so much. Then Ambassador Dr. Elijah Umba, God bless you. The phenom for the Star Nation, God bless you. For the platform, thank you for this stage. Ambassador Moses, Architect Moses Onu, thank you so much for all that you do. We listen to your trainings and they always drive a knot in our heads. And remember something you said at the encounter, Ambassador Moses Onu. He said that, look, if you have to choose between being friends and being mentors with your team members, it's okay to be friends, but if you need to choose to be friends or become mentors with your team members, be a mentor first and not friends. This has helped me a lot. I tell people that, look, I didn't come to this business to make friends. I'm sorry. I didn't come to this business to make friends. And when he made that statement, it validated that position that I've always had in my mind. If we become friends along the line, beautiful. But my goal is to help you achieve what I know is possible for you to achieve. So thank you so much, Ambassador Architect Moses Onu. And then my thanks and gratitude will go to my accountability partners, Engineer Wilson Unogu. Thank you so much for what you are and who you are and the position you have taken in my life. And thank you, Dr. Obielumani Ide, my second accountability partner in my ongoing 90 days challenge. Thank you so much for pushing me and challenging me to all that is possible. And my greatest thanks will go to the strategic motivator, Ambassador Dr. Anthony Akabuno. God bless you for taking me under your wings when I had no one to lead or guide me. Thank you for seeing something in me and believing in me and consistently mentoring me to who I am becoming. Thank you so much. God bless you. Then to my amazing team members, the elite billionaires team, I am absolutely nothing without you. This is just a small fraction of my team members. I thank you guys so much for trusting me, for believing in me, for forgiving me for the times I stepped on your toes, because you understand that all that I do for you to achieve the best possible in this business. Thank you so much. God bless you, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to share. I'm done, Lady Sophie. I'm done. Thank you so very much.
Amazing. Star Nation, let's go to the comment section. Let's celebrate this young lady. Let's go to the comment section. Let's celebrate her.